Brought to you by CHM, a biblically based alternative to health insurance. Learn more at chministries.org/budget.
So my question was regarding an issue I have with, more importantly, my dad. So my dad's always gotten into this habit of every so often asking to borrow money, which I'm not hurting for, so I don't mind. But it's gotten to the point where I dread taking his calls. Because it's not about checking up on me or checking up on the kids. I always feel like it's going to be, hey, by the way, can I borrow X amount of dollars? So my question is, how do I go about starting the conversation to where I tell him, hey, enough's enough?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How old is he, Oscar?
My dad is 60.
60. And why is he needing the money? What's he using it for?
Honestly, I don't even ask at this point. I'm assuming bills. Ever since I was a kid, he was never great with money. I remember when me and my sister were younger, we always had to help him translate to let the landlord know that we were going to be late on the bills. And it's always been a never-ending cycle.
Okay, so you don't think there's probably much to his name financially, and he's literally using it to stay afloat. Is he working?
Yeah, he has a full-time job.
How much does he make a year?
Honestly, I don't know 100%, but I'd say somewhere around the $50,000 to $60,000 range.
Okay. It's just him, or is he married, or?
He's married. My mom still lives at home. My mom, she's had a lot of medical complications, so she doesn't really work. Every once in a while, she does get some under the table work through a restaurant that our family owns. Mm-hmm. But other than that, she really doesn't have a stable income.
Okay. Do you have a relationship with your dad aside from this money, or do you feel like this is the only contact you have? Does he only? Do you know what I'm saying? He only comes around for money, or do you have a relationship established outside of that?
Well, I mean, if we have family gatherings, we get together. We can be amicable, but he never comes over just to hang out.
Yeah.
I mean, even when I was younger, it was more of a business casual relationship.
Sure.
I can tell you right now, if we're sitting in a car for an hour or two, the most we talk about is the weather.
Yeah. Oh. Do you have siblings?
Yep. I have an older sister and a younger brother.
Does he call them?
My little brother, he does not. He still lives at home. But he is of age to not live there. Mm. But he will call my sister if I tell him, hey, I can't help you anymore. Or I can't help you this week.
So then the sister calls. Have you and your sister talked about it?
Yeah, me and my sister talk about it all the time.
Okay.
We're frustrated.
So you're both, okay.
We both have our own families.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
One last question, because I'm just trying to put the pieces together. When he asks for money, how much? Like in a month, how much money would you give him? And then how quickly before he'd ask for money again?
The most he's asked in one sitting was like $1,200. And typically when it's, the larger the amount, the bigger of the gap between him asking for more. But I'd say roughly about once a month, maybe.
Okay. And sorry, I'm fascinated by what's going on, and I'm also trying to dig deeper. If you had to assess the situation, is your dad is there anything unhealthy we should know about? Like, do you sense any like addiction, something where this money is going where it shouldn't be going? Or do you truly think, listen, this guy, he has no budget, and because of that, he's late on rent? Is it just that simple?
So I know, like I said earlier, my dad's terrible with money. He's always been a guy who bought scratchers at the gas station, but it's never been, at least to my knowledge, so extensive that he would blow his whole paycheck on it. Mm-hmm. I know he's always been struggling with payday loans here and there, and the only reason I know this is a long time ago I worked at a financial institution as a loan officer, and it was the same bank he worked at. Mm-hmm. And they would always come to me and say, hey, what's going on with your dad? And it got to the point where it was stressing me out so much I couldn't be there anymore. I didn't want to be part of his financial burden, and it was taking a toll on me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was stressing over something that I genuinely didn't have any concern over, because at that point I didn't live in his house. Obviously, he's still my dad. I'm concerned about his well-being financially.
Sure.
But
where are you at, Oscar, financially? You and your family. Where are you guys? How are you guys?
So I am right now on baby step number 1.
Okay.
Trying to work towards 2.
Yeah.
I have all my debts lined up, ready to go. hopefully by the end of this year, I will have all my consumer debt paid off. I don't have very much.
So to say that you have an extra spare $75,000 in a high yield savings account to help your dad when he needs $200 a month, that's non-existent. Like, you guys are paycheck to paycheck. You're starting to build $1,000 emergency fund yourself. So it's even so what my advice, Oscar, to you is this, and even more because of where you are financially, right? I mean, I think there can be a different discussion. And we talk to people on baby step 7. They've paid off their house. They've accumulated wealth. They're like, listen, my dad's in his 80s and he's terrible with money. And I'm going to help. And that's what they choose to do, right? A very conscious decision. It's not being burdened upon them. They just decide that is part of what I'm going to do with my legacy and my money. You, Oscar, on the other hand, you guys are not in a financial position. You're trying to save a drowning person while you yourself are trying to keep your head above water, and it's causing that much more, I would say, probably bitterness and strife.
Yes,
which is very understandable. So, I mean, this is always such a hard conversation because I think the parent-child relationship, especially as adults, is very difficult. But what I would say, because this is the truth, is, and I'm going to butcher the quote, and I
wonder if it's the one I'm thinking of.
It's about the fish, right? Don't give a man a fish, teach him to fish.
Yeah.
It's the idea that, like, Dad, I want to sit down and help lay out. And you could say, Oscar, I'm starting this process too, Dad. Like, I'm starting to realize, gosh, I have to get my finances in order. And here's some things that I've done, Dad. I've realized, okay, here's my income. We've created a budget. My first goal is $1,000. Like, you could tell him what you're doing and say, and if you want, Dad, I would love to sit down. And this is if you want to, Oscar, but I would love to sit down and help you get on this plan as well.
Love that.
Because ultimately, this is just a few $100, right? I mean, again, he's not asking for $10,000 a month. So it's just these little pieces of discipline that may be hard for a 60-year-old
to restart.
But that's where I would start and say, I can't give you any more. I don't have it. And that's the honest truth, Oscar. You don't. I don't have the money to help you, but I would love to sit down and walk you through kind of what I'm doing, and let's see together if you can now get in a position where this you're not short a couple $100 a month.
Whew, good advice, Rachel. Yeah, Viola Davis said, don't light yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. This is The Ramsey Show.
It's better. CHM isn't health insurance. It's a health cost-sharing ministry. Check it out for yourself at chministries.org/budget.